if you become a service bureau underneath somebody else, the only thing they're going to provide you with is technology, and you're going to have to spend all your time spinning your wheels trying to figure out what to do and how to do it, versus being able to template somebody who's already done it, who's already been successful at it, and they can lay out a blueprint for you and you could just follow the blueprint. It shortcuts the learning curve. Well, my name's Rossi. I own a company called the Taxpayers Bureau. Right now, we currently have 15 franchises across 4 different states. I started the company back in 2016. When I started it, I immediately already knew that I wanted to scale the business, that I didn't just want to be kind of a mom and pop tax office. So I set it up with the business model in mind for me to be able to, scale the business long term. So here we are, 6-7 years later, and we're doing pretty well.
So prior to joining our Service Bureau Accelerator program, were you already were familiar with what a service bureau was, or were you already a service bureau? What was that looking like before you joined up?
So yeah, I wasn't a true service bureau. I did have more of like a reseller's kind of contract. I did have a couple of sort of outside tax offices. As far as knowing about a service bureau, what's interesting about that is this information is not readily available. A lot of people don't just volunteer information about how to become a service bureau. So I did get some information a couple years ago from going to the IRS forum. And that's when I was able to kind of, network a little bit and find out about some of these things. But so I found out about a few things. Speaking with you, when you and I spoke, you kind of clued me in on a few extra things, a lot more about the industry. So that also let me know that you were very knowledgeable, about the industry as well. So yeah.
And you said that you thought there was other limitations to being a service bureau, like you had to have minimum volumes, you had to do this. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so originally, I know with different companies, some companies will say that you have to have at least 1,000 bank products, or you have to have, some massive number in order to qualify to be a service bureau. Even as far as some of the other, how, like you said, how the money's made, you really kind of have to know the right people, and you really have to ask. So not only, one thing I did like about, one thing I liked about the Service Bureau Accelerator program, not only did you peel back the curtain, you actually gave people tools on how to become a service bureau. So not only are there not any information on how to be a service bureau, there certainly isn't any tools out there for you to actually be good at it once you find out that you could be a service bureau. So I think that's where you guys definitely came in and provided a great platform for that.
Can you speak a little bit about, the training aspect and any feedback or things about the training side and like what really benefited you in the program?
So here's what's interesting. So one thing about it, like my business model's kind of grown over the years. So we had a lot of infrastructure and a lot of things in place. One thing though, there's a saying that small hinges swing big doors. And
I told you that on the sales call.
Yeah. And it's the truth of it, because a lot of times it's, or some people refer to it as a slight edge, right? Where a lot of times you're kind of doing certain things, but you need to tweak some knobs. So like you said, I had a little bit of info about how to be a service bureau, but I kind of didn't have it all sort of together. Great thing about it is you guys provided a lot of the training with some of the marketing. Where I think I got most of the value was actually in the sales scripting. So I was speaking to people, they were liking what I was saying, but for some reason, I wasn't able to kind of close it. And I remember reaching out to you about it. And I was like, man, I need a key phrase. Like, what do you say to help, kind of push these people over the edge? You gave me one small phrase, to say. It was like literally so simple. And from there, I just started closing deals. So it was like a small thing. So I think it's a great program. You guys got the good marketing in there. Teaching about the automation. The great thing I like about it is that you guys also have the value add, teaching individuals how to kind of add value by being an actual service bureau. One thing I like about you guys, so even though I'm in taxes, which is more the accounting field, my actual core competency, my background is actually in marketing. So I respect and I appreciate good marketing, and you guys do fantastic marketing. And one thing that's important is, like, people think marketing is just advertising. It's like, no, marketing is not just a part of the business. It is the business. It's how you present yourself. It's how you answer the phone. It's how you solve problems for people. It's every single communication that you have with the customer is marketing. And you guys do a very great job of packaging that and making things very polished. So.
Awesome. I appreciate that. A lot of things that we focus on, the marketing obviously is a big part of it, but you mentioned it before, it's the sales, right? Marketing is one thing, but sales has to be an extension or a combination of that. So how do you put together a good package to sell, right? Because you mentioned value add, and part of our program is don't just be like everyone else reselling someone else's software. You have to have a value add package, which is what the industry needs. So how do you take that? How do you package it together in a good marketing presentation? And then more importantly, once you got people on the phone, how do you convert them? And what I think a lot of people find interesting about our program, and maybe you want to comment on this or not, is that we do something completely different from every other service bureau out there. Is we don't talk about the tax software in any sales, right? Like when you go sell your stuff, the conversation isn't about the software, it's about the opportunity working with the taxpayers bureau and how does that make sense for that person. You want to speak a bit about any of like the packages or anything you put together, if it makes sense?
Yeah, for sure. So you're absolutely correct, because at the end of the day, software is software. People are not just buying a piece of software. People really want solutions to problems. And the great thing is, and in my case, I happen to have some industry experience, so I understand some of the problems that people were dealing with. So we were able to do that. So one of the things that we did, we let people know about some of the courses and things that we had coming out. Now, great thing for us, we run a pretty sizable organization, so we would take our course and white label it. So basically kind of a training course that we already have in place, people can and white label it. We also built our own technology that people be able to use to help with some of their automations and things as well, as far as the value add there. And just a lot of different things, even providing people with some other value adds is like even the little vacation incentives and things like, hey, when you come on with our service bureau, we can help you provide incentives to your clients. Also just helping people, giving people more of a consultative approach and helping them know that you see the bigger picture. One thing I let people know that when they join my service bureau, that you're not just getting a software, you're getting an entire platform that's built to grow. So what we focused on was systems, and I always like to think of systems as an acronym for save yourself time, energy, and money. And so I would tell all of my clients, that's what I'm here to do, is save you time, energy, and money. And so we have the tools and things in place to be able to do that. So it worked out pretty well for us.
Can you share like a little bit of your experience on what you felt was really the most valuable and what you were able to implement and utilize with success?
Honestly, like I said, I kind of come from a marketing background. I had a lot of systems in there. What was most valuable for me though was the sales scripting. Just kind of knowing how to massage that and package that. And then, like I said, even speaking with you with the closing, there was two things I actually got from both you and Ross. So from you, I got that key closing statement. Then my next thing was, okay, even for the people who don't do it right now, how do I, where does the follow-up go? And then the other idea that I got from you guys was, hey, why don't you book a follow-up appointment with those people right then and there to go ahead and close them. We call it an enrollment call, was what you guys gave me. So I had the closing phrase from you, and then I got the idea to do the enrollment call. So coupling those two things together really helped me close my sale. So I would say for me personally, the most valuable thing I got was the actual sales training, which helped with the conversions.
Awesome. So the sales training, what I think a lot of people don't realize, service bureaus typically, the majority of service bureaus out there don't make a lot of money pre-season. So with the sales training, you are able to accomplish actually bringing in more revenue in the pre-season before tax even started. Is that accurate to say?
Absolutely. And that's another great value add. I mean, I know a lot of service bureaus still do have tax offices where they perform, they do taxes and stuff like that. But one thing about the tax industry, especially if you're in that, it's a back end business. So you're going from October, November, or whatever, you're not getting paid till February, March. It was a great value add to be able to sell software, to be able to generate revenue, and that can help fund your activities, in some of the other areas of your business, if you are still active in tax preparation, which if you do enough, on the service bureau side, at some point, you may not need to do tax preparation. You can go full blown and be in the service bureau and just deal with the technology, which is what my plan is.
Right. I think that's a lot of people's goals is to get out of being in the actual tax office and doing the tax returns. And, we try and help people set up their goals and their 5-year execution to get there. Right. I think a lot of people, they look at it and they're like, yeah, I'm tired of doing taxes, regardless of how many clients you have. You have 50, you have 300. Everyone gets tired of it at some point. So how do we leverage that and grow this type of business? So that's interesting that you brought that up for sure. How is the support? Do you feel that you're able to get the information you needed or help with things as needed in a timely manner?
Absolutely. No, the support was great. One thing I liked is that you guys always did webinars. You did support webinars, and you also did, highlights, such as this one or what have you. So for individuals who were successful, you were able to do case studies with them. And the support group, the Facebook group, is very helpful. I get a lot of information about this. One thing I will say that I do like and I appreciate about you guys in the SBA program is that you do what you say you're going to do. A lot of times you guys are like, oh, we need a script for this, or we need a video for that, or we'll put something up in 2 days and 2 days later it's there. Every time I turn around, you're adding more stuff to the library. So it's a solid program for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because we had a certain outline, and you joined relatively early when we pretty much launched, right? You were one of the in like the first group.
Oh, look, I don't play. I was like, this is for me.
You saw the evolution, and we kind of tell people, hey, model what we do here, because this is something that you can definitely put together for your stuff. But you saw the evolution of, hey, this is what we promised to, like, this is what we sold you, right? This is what you're gonna get. And then now the end product, which is not the end product, because there's more coming, and there's a lot more coming over the next 3 or 4 years too. But immediate future, there's more coming. The end product of what was there as of July, August was already bigger than the information that we said we were going to provide. And I think you saw that firsthand as it kind of kept adding to it. So that's interesting.
Listen, I saw you guys build this from scratch. I think when I logged in, it was like a welcome page, and now it's like 40 pages of videos and other stuff. Yeah. And so that's a good thing too, is that, one thing service bureaus need to understand, you don't have to get it right. You just have to get it going. You can build it along the way, and, you can tweak things along the way. Sometimes people overanalyze stuff and they never launch. So it's like, look, just get it going, get the feedback, and then, you adjust. And I think that's what some of what you guys did, which, like hearing from the people in the Facebook group and other things, when you hear the feedback, okay, now let's make sure we add this and add that. And that's what made it a quality program. So I would say for any service bureaus, they should do the same thing.
Oh yeah. Sure. Knowing where you were, what you've done this season, I think you have a pretty good season. Breaking 6 figures on the service bureau, first year as a real service bureau is nothing to be shy about, right? It's a good number, right? to go for it. And then, on your path to 7 figures. What are you most excited about, going into next year? It could be anything. Like, what did you learn from your mistakes? And then what are you most excited to implement going into the next season?
I'm super excited. I'm ready to take this thing to a whole new level. So one thing about me, everything's all about, testing and refining. My first year, I put a lot of different, things out there. Now I know what to expect, so I can build my entire infrastructure around that. I actually have an internal team of people who, for example, we used to have we still have them. We have franchise coordinators. Basically, it's a sales team who helps us onboard and sell franchises. Now that we're moving into a service bureau, they're actually going to be part of the team that's also going to be helping us, resell our service bureau packages, sell the software. Now that I already have these systems in place, or the information, I can put the systems in place to scale. So one thing about me, I'm all about scalability. This year, I was the only one working the service bureau side, and you see what I did as one person. So imagine what happens when I actually scale this to an actual organization. So that is what has me excited. The one improvement I will make, and I got this from you, I was more so looking long-term, just thinking about the long-term revenue of it. So I would cut people probably more deals than I should have on the front end. After speaking with you, one of the things I'm going to do is definitely increase my price point, and that's going to help generate even more revenue on the front end, which will allow me to spend more money on the marketing to even acquire more customers to grow the service bureau even further. So those will be my plans for next year. So I'm super excited about that.
A couple of things I want to unpack on that. The second thing you said about the pricing, right? And I'm going completely off script of normal conversations that I have.
Get into it.
It's an epidemic in this industry for service bureaus to have a race to the bottom. Like, oh, I'm going to cut you this deal. Yeah, get free software. Yeah, do this. All in the hopes that they're going to do volume and they'll make money on the back end. And there, a lot of these guys don't disclose what those fees are, which that's a topic of conversation for another day. But we kind of push people to do the opposite, because we know from experience and from seeing it in other people doing it, that race to the bottom, that cutting people breaks on the front end doesn't make them take it seriously. And you might as well get paid up front, right? Right. Or you might as well that I think we had this conversation. We had actually a long conversation the other day about it. And sure, this nugget will be free for everybody watching it. It's the money that you make on the upfront, you may feel like you're losing customers by charging more, but those people are gonna be that much more committed. And if you charge 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, whatever you want to charge on the front end for the value you're providing, that helps you service that customer way more, because now you can hire the right people or put in the right systems and invest in your business instead of scraping by year because you're trying to cut deals and hoping people produce. I see a lot of people go down that road and make that mistake of, I'm just gonna give my stuff away for free and hopefully it'll all make sense, and it always backfires. This is interesting you brought that up. The other thing I want to kind of drill in on, you mentioned that, you know, you have the franchise and you're kind of moving towards the service bureau. A lot of people will start a service bureau and maybe have a move towards the franchise, like franchising their business. What about the franchise do you not like, where you're like, hey, I want to focus more on this side? Or like, what is that thinking behind saying, hey, I started this franchise concept, but I don't really like it so much that I'm thinking about going this way, just out of curiosity?
Well, first of all, I would say I love the franchising model and I love the franchising concept. I think one thing is people underestimate the complexity of the task, though. When you have franchises, there's a lot of support that goes with it. Now, you provide support as a service bureau, don't get me wrong, but franchises have a considerable amount of support. So, for example, not only do we do tech support and stuff for our internal team, but we run training programs for all of our agents. We do orientations for all, new agents. We provide back office support. There's a lot of stuff. You got to run payroll for this. There's a lot of different things that go into it. So it's not that I don't like it. It's just you can essentially generate probably same amount or even more revenue as a service bureau with considerably less effort. I joke with people all the time. I tell people, look, I'm what you call intelligently lazy. I work hard at finding ways to not work hard. Okay. So my whole thing is, it's just about scaling the business and creating more of a lifestyle business. I like to think with the end in mind. Like, let's just be honest. Even when I hire people, I tell people all the time, nobody grows up wanting to do taxes, right? Like, you get into taxes, for whatever reason, you really like the lifestyle that preparing taxes can bring. That's really what this is about. It's about having a lifestyle for yourself so you can spend more time with your family and all that. Some of the things we do are, a means to an end. So for me personally, it's just something about continuing to evolve the business and keeping an eye on why did we get into business in the first place. Sometimes people just get caught up in the day-to-day hustle and bustle. While I love what I do, I love my team and I love my staff, at the end of the day, this is about more of, creating a lifestyle for yourself so you can spend more time with you and your family. I mean, right. It's really that simple. So it's just more of a lifestyle decision. Like I said, I love the franchise model. It's not that I don't like it, but I do think that, looking at this is a great opportunity, and it could provide, probably a similar lifestyle with a little bit less, less support and less effort, just being honest.
And less regulation.
Yeah, less regulation too. Yeah, for sure.
What would you tell someone that's looking at joining the Service Bureau Accelerator program?
I would tell them to definitely join the Service Bureau Accelerator program because it comes with the support that you need. If you become a service bureau underneath somebody else, the only thing they're going to provide you with is technology, and you're going to have to spend all your time spinning your wheels trying to figure out what to do and how to do it, versus being able to template somebody who's already done it, who's already been successful at it, and they can lay out a blueprint for you and you can just follow the blueprint. It shortcuts the learning curve. Side note, part of the reason why I even, you asked me about my franchise, part of the reason why people are attracted to that is because all the systems in there, so it shortcuts the learning curve. That's the same thing that you guys did with the Service Bureau Accelerator program. That's why it just made so much sense to me. I wish I had somebody to give me a franchise or set something up when I came in, you know what I mean? So when I met with you guys, that was probably the closest I've seen to anybody who's put something together, A to Z. So I would tell anybody, if you're looking at the program, don't hesitate. I would go with these guys because, again, they understand what they do, they understand the principles of marketing, they provide all the support, and most importantly, they deliver on what they say they're going to deliver on. So